Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second game in the losers semifinals between Vasall and Fredinhiovic. And this home map is Land Nomad of all things. A very interesting map. You have the typical nomad start with 3 villagers and you have to build a town center first. However, in contrast to regular Nomad, you don't have any water around the map, so the build order is a lot different, so you need to secure some food resource right away. And Fredinhiovic already dropping his town center, which is very good because you always should drop that early, because then you can start producing your extra villages right away. And he also has a very good spot, because he also has access to a boar directly. However, I think the perfect location would have been in this nice cubby in the wood line to have a more surface area for the lumberjacks, but I think it's very nicely done. At the same time, Vasall also dropping his town center, and he also has a boar in the vicinity, some sheep if he finds them. He is already scouting with his other sheep, so that's also so important on nomad maps, that you do some scouting to see where are the resources, where is your opponent. And you see that Vasall is doing that here very nice. He uses this sheep to really scout around the wood line, look for extra golds. Due to the sheep he was able to see this boar over here, so that's all very good stuff. As for the civilizations, so Fredinhiovic getting the Chinese, so very good civilization. So in Nomad it works like this, that once your TC is up, you get the extra villages. So he starts right away with 6 villages. But he doesn't have any food, so that's why he can directly go for loom. So this works out very nicely, and he already now has 6 on sheep, and that should be enough to be constantly producing new villages. I mean, he should think about switching over to the boar soon, but so far it's all very nice. Vasall, on the other hand, just getting his TC up. He needs to create these villages, and that gives Freddy a big lead in terms of villager production. It's now 4 more villages. So Chinese, I think, still a pretty good choice. Good civ to get. Although we see another nice definitive edition bug where the villagers try to bump into each other, and now finally they realized that that's leading to nowhere. On the other side, Vasall, he has the Teutons, a fan-favorite civilization for, I guess, everyone. Not only since the Oktoberfest douche month, which is also coming up again this year. So in October, you will see a lot of Teuton douches everywhere. So let's see what these players can make out of their civilizations. So Fredinhiovic already walling up across here, which can be good, but I'm not sure if this is maybe a little bit premature. Also boxing himself in a little bit, but we'll see what this game will bring us. So players are scouting around, Fredinhiovic using a villager, which does have a better line of sight than the sheep, so that's one advantage of using the villagers for scouting. He also sees this board, Vasall also sees, but he still has not found his opponent yet. Vasall, on the other hand, he did scout quite a bit more, and he should be able to see that sheep are taken here at this position, so that's where he should assume that Fredinhiovic is. So basically he could already start to plan his aggression, so tower rush is always very good on these nomad style maps. So he could assume, okay, Fredinhiovic is here, he's taking that wood, so let's build a tower here and deny all of that wood line. But let's see what these players will be going for. So already this villager going very far out of her way to do something which we don't know yet. In the meantime, almost losing a villager here, so remember that Vasall does not have loom, so he needs to be careful with those boars. However, he's already queuing up a loom, and so that's very nice. Freddy's villager lead has narrowed to only 3 villages from before 4. That's to be expected because Chinese, they need to get the food in first. So there's a little bit of a pause in the beginning. And yeah, so far, oh, I think this villager will maybe be able to see, if I can click the right button, maybe able to see his opponent. No, he's just missing their Vasall. But I think sooner or later he will see where his opponent is. And yeah, let's see what this game brings in this series. I'm actually pretty excited about this series. I mean, the losers bracket may be even more interesting than the winners bracket, because we've seen all the players from the winners bracket. We've seen them performing, we've seen them at the Couch Cup, so we know what they can do. But the losers team, the players in the losers bracket, they're like kind of blank spaces. We don't know how they perform in all the different situations, so it's very exciting to see them play. So Vasall dropping some random houses here, finding some sheep, which is always good. And now he's going forward with a lot of villages. What are they doing? Okay, they're getting a mill up, so maybe he wants to get the deer over here, or maybe it's for the boar. Oh yeah, it's for the boar. He just needs to be careful. Okay, he's lucky the boar did not attack this villager, otherwise he would have lost another villager. So that's very good. I mean, the boar is so close, so why not lure it to the town center? But maybe Vasall is not as confident with the boar luring, and maybe he also says, okay, I want to take the deer afterwards, and so that's why he takes it like this with the mill. But now let's look at this. Fredinhiovic also dropping a mill at this position for the deer, and I think he will soon realize that his opponent is over here. He should see the corpse of the boar. And I think once this building is completed, he will realize his opponent is happily taking some food over there. And yes, he does, but he cannot attack here because it's just too many villages. Even though if he's very good at microing, he could pick up this villager. So already the action is kicking off, and I think now both players know where their opponent is, and I think they know that they need to do something. And of course they watch too many games of Food Please and Play Buzzer, so immediately the walls are dropped, but they're kind of leading into nowhere, and Vasall countering with his own walls over here. So basically this wall, I don't know what it does. I mean, either you try to wall off yourself or you try to wall in your opponent, but this is not really leading anywhere. Instead, he should just focus on getting in more food, going up to the next stage, and then make something happen, because walling in, I mean, we have seen it in the game between Food Please and Gummy Bear. On Land Nomad is much more difficult because there's just more open space everywhere due to the extra landmass and due to the wood lines being very confined as well. And now they was all having some villages forward, very brave villages. I'm not sure what they were trying to do. I mean, if he can, he's not able to do that. And Freddy, instead of attacking right away with the villages, he should just garrison and shoot it. But he did not do that, and now he's not even chasing that villager, so this villager can just easily and happily lame. On the other side, however, there's also a wall-in attempt by Freddy of their Vasall, so walls going up everywhere, so you have this great divider in the middle, which is weird. I mean, you would think that you would wall from this woodline outwards to there, but who am I to talk here? And look at this, Vasall denying that stone. So maybe Vasall wants to go for some tower aggression. But there's just so much resources. I mean, look, there's a stone here, there's one all the way in the back. I mean, that's Land Nomad. There has so much resources at the edge of the map, so it's very hard to deny that. And this villager, oh, she's in a world of hurt. She has to retreat. But of course, Freddy doesn't chase. So that's something that I would like to see from him in the future, is maybe just take one villager and chase her, because she can just stay here. She can drop a tower, and there's another tower that could come up. But now look at this. Vasall actually dropping a barracks, very ballsy forward barracks, and he could produce some man-at-arms or militia from there and attack his opponent. Although everything is pretty much well protected by the town center. I mean, if you look at the range of the town center, I mean, the wood lines are pretty protected. The gold is not quite protected, but still, it's rather safe, to be honest. And Freddy is going up to the next stage, and look at this. Now this is just bad manners at this point. So there's just one villager, one blue villager hiding behind the town center of Vasall, and Vasall doesn't notice. I mean, this villager could even also gather some food if she liked, and Vasall has no clue. He doesn't know what happens. And now the first militia out, but that's what I said. The wood lines are well protected by the town center, and the militia cannot do much here. So basically they would need to loop around maybe and attack the wood line, but still Freddy having very nice compact resource gathering points, so that's very nice for him. Now Vasall taking some gold on this side, curiously. That makes sense because he's coming from the north. It's getting rather confusing with all these palisades everywhere. Now the militia are wasted, so they won't survive this, I guess. Yeah, they're dead. And now this villager is also pushed back without finishing the outpost, without finishing the house. But maybe she will go back, because of course Freddy does not chase. And maybe it's fine against Vasall, but it's never fine against any of the other players. I mean, Food Please would just instantly return and drop towers on your face for days. There would already be 10 towers around your base if that would have been Food Please. And now we see more walling in, so Freddy taking now this villager out of his opponent's town center. She is completely unharmed, Vasall, being a pacifist, seemingly. And now the walling in continues. And now there's a barrack from Fredinhiovic here, and Vasall tries to wall it in so that there's no military units that can spawn from there. Then we have some will fighting over here, so a messy game. I mean, look at the minimap, look at this wall around here. But still, Vasall is not completely walled in, so you can still escape over here, and even here it's just a small chop. I mean, and now there's the big exodus of villagers. Vasall retreating with basically all of his villagers. I'm not sure what he's trying to do here. He also has a lot of idols here, like the great Food Please economy, like everyone read the book that he published recently, the fast tracking your towers with the Food Please economy, just letting them idle, because who needs food when you just need stone? And here Vasall, it's 4v4, and he might be able to pick off a villager here if he does this correctly, but of course not. He just lets this villager get away, and Vasall loses one villager of his own. And now some palisades are dropped by like too many villagers. There are just 6 villagers, and now these villagers have to retreat. And while Vasall was able to push back his opponent here a little bit, and now the villagers have to retreat. Both players in feudal age at the moment, and Vasall making some men-at-arms, and he's sneaking them by the town center. Fredinhiovic does not notice. They can attack the woodline. They can attack the woodline. They are going to in the woodline. No, just some bumping. They're just passing. They're just saying hi, and now they're going all the way around here. Meanwhile, Freddy has some archers out. Archers very good against these pesky villages over here. Now a random tower coming up from Vasall. I'm not sure what this tower actually achieves. I mean, it maybe is a defense against the archers, which probably will work fine. I mean, the archer could just sit underneath the tower because there are no... Actually, there are murder holes, so never mind. They couldn't even sit underneath the tower, so very nice awareness there. For Fredinhiovic, although I'm not sure if Murder Holes is active in feudal age. And there is a tower by Fredinhiovic, and this tower will just deny this woodline and deny a couple of farms, and then it's looking pretty bad for Vasall, who's really boxed in now. He's completely walled in. I mean, I guess he has this huge Food Please economy out here, so I guess he's still fine, but the tower is up. And it's even walled in with stone walls now. I think instead Freddy should just garrison quickly and shoot a villager or two, but I guess he's more focused on getting this tower as secure as he can. Now the men-at-arms over here were all looping around, not touching the wood line, not doing any attacks there, and now they finished off a few archers and are now focused on the archer ranks. But there are some counter men-at-arms here. And those counter men-at-arms, let's see what they can do. The men-at-arms of Der Vasall now chasing Fredinhiovic's men-at-arms. This wood line, it's not quite. This farm is pretty much pested by this tower. I think this villager will go down. And now we have the fight between Freddy and Der Vasall, and oh, pretty bad micro by Der Vasall. He only killed one, the other is still alive at 1 HP. So if we zoom out, I mean, look at this mess. Look at all these blue walls and blue things over here, and both players always trying to get the same resource patches. So this is pretty hilarious. I mean, look at this. And Fredinhiovic, yeah, he's wise to retreat here. I mean, he has so many low HP villages over here, 4 HP, 2 HP. So that's just a couple of hits and you lose all of those villagers. And he should basically send his men-at-arms over to counter that. Freddy also taking the gold all the way in the back. I'm pretty curious about that. I mean, there are gold piles which are a lot closer, which might be a little bit better, but Der Vasall also like taking resources over here, taking the wood over here. Freddy now plans to take this gold of all things. So I guess that Freddy should be very happy that his opponent does not have any cavalry, like a few scouts even. I mean, your Teutons I know, but still a few scouts, and you could just raid all of those extra resource piles over there. And now I think the men-at-arms are coming over, and Fredinhiovic in the meantime went up to the next age, and so he's already in Castle Age. Der Vasall is, I think, nowhere near Castle Age at this point. Yes, he does not have the resources, so, and this won't help him either, so he does not react. I mean, he could kill these men-at-arms, I think, with the villagers. One is on so low HP, but he's too focused on other things, I think. I mean, his men-at-arms are over here, and I think he's sending them over, but he does not retreat his villagers, so I think all his villagers would just go down at this point. Meanwhile, there's a single men-at-arms taking out the tower, so I guess Murder Holes is not activated until the Castle Age, so that's very interesting. Meanwhile, there's a tower coming up here, and a random archery range, and some random things happening. Archery range was being dropped here, but then Der Vasall realized that it doesn't make much sense. He's now producing skirmishes, and now there's something that's commendable from Fredinhiovic. So he's trying to mix it up a little bit. So he's, instead of just going for the knights, which in this situation would be the clear choice, he is also trying something new. He's trying to go for crossbow, and that's very commendable. I think it's good to, even though it's maybe not the best strategy in this particular circumstance, to go for something else, to just try something different, and that's what he's doing, and it's also even working out for him very nicely. He has these archers, soon to be crossbows. They have some upgrades, and he basically can deny the stone mine over here. He has denied the gold mine, and Vasall resigned at this point. And okay, it's looping for me, so I unfortunately activated this, so we cannot look at the map at this point. But I think we've seen the match. I mean, it was pretty one-sided in the end. Fredinhiovic trying a little bit of laming, but in the end, the laming was not too important. It was more about execution, about getting your economy running. Vasall had a lot of idols, and then also doing some aggression with that. Alright, then let's see what the next home map of Der Vasall will be, and who's gonna win the next game and the series. I'm Peter Host, and it was very nice to cast this game, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.